Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here, and welcome again to another top 10 video. And in this video today, I want to cover Sideshow Con. I want to share with you what I think was the best at the event and the things that I wasn't crazy about. So in the next couple of minutes, stay tuned. Number 10, the Joker and Harley Quinn Lawless Love Mythos Line 1/5 scale statue. I would say that this statue is a mouthful for sure. Now Sideshow is adding these big names, but it's a very interesting concept. Of course, they talk about this new Mythos line on the DC side, something that they've been doing with Star Wars, but now they're going to cover the DC universe. And I think it's a great way to really present new ideas. Now, I'm not crazy about those type of statues or those type of representations. They try to glamorize this psychotic love between Harley Quinn and the Joker. However, I think this is a great piece. Even the tailoring that was done is fantastic. It's a, in this case, a timepiece. Of course, it represents the 1930s, 1940s. It's somewhat, it has this vibe of Bonnie and Clyde, and it looks great. I think it's a great representation. Besides how I feel about it, I think it's a great piece of art. Number 9, Magneto premium format figure. Now, I have some mixed emotions with this piece because, as I mentioned on my live video last week, I wasn't crazy about that. This technically in many ways is a rendition, or I wouldn't say a copy. Some people got offended by it, but it's technically the same thing as that we saw with the Kotobukiya by Eric Sosa over what, 11 years or 12 years ago. So it's technically the same thing. Of course, this is now in quarter scale, and I would say that in that end, it has taken this long, but at least someone finally brought, in my opinion, the closest rendition in quarter scale of Jim Lee art. I think that's just bottom line. I think Daniel Bell did a fantastic job. This sculpt is amazing. It's a great addition to the quarter scale line. Sideshow needed this piece for a long time. It's better than the previous Magneto that they did. So I think in the end, it's a home run. Number 8, Bishop Premium Format Figure. This is a piece that as soon as it was announced, I was really interested on, because I think the last Bishop statue that I was so happy with was the one produced by Bowen Designs, that it was designed and sculpted by the Kucharic brothers. Fantastic piece up to this day. I wouldn't say that this resembles that. I don't think that this surpasses what the Kucharic brothers did on the small scale, on the 1/7 scale of Bowen scale, but I think it's a fantastic representation of Bishop, and I think it's perhaps the best representation we have seen so far. There's not many licensed Bishops out there. There's a lot of custom pieces or a lot of these private projects, and I would say I had never been crazy about most of them. I think this is the one in the end that did a fantastic job. It comes with 2 switch out portraits, one that represents the 90s, the classic Bishop, but also the more modern Bishop without the hair. Also has the light up feature. It's going to be a great companion with the cable. Number 7, MODOK statue. Now, I do not know, I saw in the video, of course, we got the teaser of the prototype, unpainted prototype, and that guy looks massive. I'm not sure this is going to be a quarter scale. It seems by the dimensions that possibly is, or it could be the 1/5 scale, who knows. But they did such a fantastic job and represented MODOK, and that came out of the left field for sure. It's a great thing that when Sideshow really does the more obscure characters, even though MODOK is not an obscure villain, and in recent times, of course, has become more popular, but it's a character that for the most part Sideshow seems to skip, and most companies seem to skip. The last one was done by Bowen Designs too, also designed by the Kucharic brothers and sculpted by them, which is a fantastic piece. I think it's one of the best MODOK statues ever. But this one seems like the same rendition in some way, but in a larger scale. Number 6, Cat Bane Premium Format Figure. This piece, when it was announced, I was, oh, okay, it's Cat Bane, it's popular right now, so people are gonna be, everybody's using him in some way. But I think they did a really nice job with this one. It was only an unpainted prototype that was shown, but Will Harbottle did a fantastic job. This is his first Star Wars piece ever, but he did a fantastic job with the team because other sculptors also help out in different aspects of the statue. It looks really, really neat. The whole presentation, the stands, of course, the base, all of that is so well executed. So one of the best pieces that they showcase. Number 5, Grand Admiral Tron Premium Format Figure on a Throne. Now, this is something that I would say I was not expecting. As soon as they said we're gonna have a Grand Admiral Tron, I was like, okay, well, let's see how they do it. they went past my expectations. I think this is the way you do Tron on a Tron. He's a tactician, he's a mastermind. Also, they said that it's gonna have, multiple portraits, representing different types of eras of the character, whether it's on television or whether it's in the comics or animation. It doesn't really matter to me. I think they did a fantastic job with this one. Just the way it is, it looks fantastic. Number 4, Core of the Dead, Slayer, the Undying Blade. Now, this statue, I'm telling you, I have no connection with the Core of the Dead. I don't care much about it. I'm not a horror type of person. It's not something that appeals to me. But as soon as I saw the presentation of this, I realized how beautiful this piece is. It reminds me a lot of what XM has been doing with the Samurai series and the Batman Samurai series, but I think it's definitely a great addition to the Core of the Dead. It's also an expansion to a new lore, going into the more, not only the more Western horror stuff, but also going into the more, the Eastern stuff. And I think that is great. I think they did a fantastic, it was a pretty piece with a lot of great detail, well executed. There's simplicity in it, but it's so well done. Number 3, the J. Scott Campbell Fairy Tale Fantasies Collection, the Lady Cheshire Cat statue. Now, this is, I think it's a 1/5 scale, but this collection, it's been popular, very popular since it was introduced. And this is a great addition. This is the largest statue that they have produced. Not sure yet if this is the best piece that they have produced in the collection. It's definitely the one that has the most detail. And it's up there. The colors are nice. The portrait represents J. Scott Campbell art so well done. It's a beautiful piece of art with so much detail, so much story to tell, and one of the most beautiful pieces presented at Sideshow Con. Number 2, Sideshow Originals Vampire's Lost Premium Format Figure. Now, this statue, this quarter scale statue, is impressive. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a fan of horror stuff, but I cannot deny the work that has been done here. Richard Long was the designer of the statue. He was involved heavily in this statue. And I think that the artists that they sculpted this, I think Will Harbottle was also involved there. They did a fantastic job in recreating and bringing out what Richard Long envisioned for this piece. And it's great. Yes, it's not something that I would love to display in my house. Definitely, it's a very morbid statue. It's not something I enjoy, but I know just that a lot of fans out there, I'm loving this. A lot of people they had a great reception for this, and people are talking about it. So I know it's going to be a very popular one. It's the second piece that they have produced in this line. I think this line is really shaping really well. Of course, it's right in the alley what Sideshow has done from the beginning of their, they started with the horror stuff back in the day 30 years ago. So it's a continuation of the stuff that they're doing. And number 1, the one that I think in the end won, and it was right there with Vampire's Lost, is the Constantine Premium Format Figure. Now, of course, as you know, I'm a big comic book fan, so anything that has to do with comics, I have that preference, that bias towards it. But I think this Constantine is a fantastic representation, sculpted by Martin Canale. He did a really nice job in bringing the spirit of Constantine here. Some people are, I have complained about the portrait. I have no issue with it. I think it's a great portrait. We have seen other pieces, of course, quarter scale from others, and in this case, we saw it from Prime One Studio. Fantastic piece, but I think this Constantine really tells a story much better than any others that we have seen so far. I think they really did a nice job with this one. The whole base, the detail on the base, the biggest surprise at the event. We know it was coming, but we didn't know how it would be. But in the end, I think they won it. This is the piece that, in my opinion, was the best of the best. All right, guys, those were the best in my opinion, but what was the worst? And now, when I talk about the worst, I'm not saying that they were terrible pieces here, because at the end of the day, art is subjective. Everyone has an opinion. But the things that I was more disappointed with are the things that they didn't caught my attention as much as others. I would say number 1, the biggest disappointment for me was Wolverine versus Grey Hulk maquette. I would say that the reason why I'm disappointed with this is because in the end, it's just the same piece that we had before. Just they tweak it here, of course, to make it look like Grey Hulk. So they change the portrait and the colors in Wolverine, and they do some adjustments, but it's the same piece that we had before. The second thing for me that was disappointing was Mystique. Now, Mystique, I will tell you, the sculpt is good. The concept, it's the part where perhaps I'm not as crazy about. I like the concept. The pose is fine. She's sitting down. She has a beautiful sculpt for sure. She has the gun, which is great. There's something on the whole thing that I don't feel so happy with. I'm not sure what it is. I'm still trying to put my finger on it. So I'm not sure. I feel that it's something that is missing with this piece. Now, my other disappointment, and I know a lot of people are sharing the disappointment, is the Beast premium format figure. I was expecting a lot more from this piece. And to be honest, I'm okay with the concept of the desk. You know, some custom makers have made the same thing, some, you know, private commissions and stuff, and it looks great. This one has a lot of detail, and I think, and the sculpt is fine. It's just the pose that it feels too exaggerated. And yes, we have seen this in the comics. We have seen some of that, you know, in the cartoon, all of that. It still feels that they could have just simplified it. But they try to go too extra with this. And I feel that they could have just make it a little simpler and people will be happier with it. And another disappointment for me is the Peacemaker statue. Oh boy, I was not a fan of this statue. Now, don't get me wrong. I like John Cena. I'm okay with the Peacemaker TV show. I really enjoy that TV series. You know, I'm okay with him when he was, of course, on the Suicide Squad. It's fine. I'm okay with it. It seems that that is what they're trying to represent here. You know, but the Peacemaker is more than John Cena. It's more than that representation. They could have done something in between, where also kind of pay homage to the comics, but they were more into the TV show, into the John Cena persona, which is he's a doofus, you know? So that's what they presented here. Of course, he's on the top of his eagle, you know, he's riding the eagle, very patriotic. And the biggest disappointment for me, and I think for a lot of people, is the fact that there were a lot of teasers early on in the first 3 weeks that ultimately they didn't see no light of day. You know, we got the teasers from Weapon X, we got the teasers for Luke Skywalker, Red 5 standing by, we have also the Riddler, all of those things that we saw nothing in the end. And to me, it's like, if you are, you know, really advertising this con to be like the event of all events, and you take 4 weeks just to tease people ultimately to get nowhere, then it's like, man, it's like the worst date ever. You know, you get it nowhere. You know, and that's the thing what happened here, I honestly. So definitely that was a disappointment. Yeah, it's good that they give us teasers for things to come, but ultimately, when you're stretching this con this way without really giving you something more concise, I feel that it's just a waste of time. I will tell you this, first and foremost, this is the best con they have done. This is the best Sideshow Con. It's better than the previous year and the year before. They're getting to a place where actually they're doing it in a much better way. They took a lot of cues from what other companies are doing, Prime One Studio, Iron Studios, and they're doing the live videos in a better way. In between those videos, those live videos, they also have trailers and they have other type of content. So they're adding a lot of stuff to keep those things entertaining. The Midas line, I think, has potential. Also, we have other things like the Coffin comics collaboration that they announced. I think that's great. Yes, it was a fantastic presentation in the end, at least the last week, and we'll see what happened next time. So yeah, I would say that there were a lot of great things. Some things were disappointing, but in the end, it's just a matter of personal opinion, and everyone has a different view. But what is your opinion, my friends? What do you think about what we talked about today? Are you a fan of my list? You don't like it? You have a better list? You think that I missed something? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are down below. And please consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless. Take care. I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.